Did you know? In terms of GDP, Japan's economy is the third largest in the world. It's only surpassed by China, the second largest economy, and the United States, which is the largest economy in the world. In the scope of business and global media, we should be preparing ourselves to interact with other large economies such as Japan, China, and Germany. Trade is a two-way street. Since the goods we export are proportional to the goods we import, working with larger economies means that we can exchange the goods that we need in larger quantities. Lots of different things can happen with these goods, but a lot of the time, a chunk of it's going to help work towards furthering our own economic growth, and the cycle of increasing trade quantities continues. In order to foster international trade, a key ingredient is having people who speak the languages of both the countries that are interacting with each other. So, with all of this in mind, why is it exactly that so few students here at UMSL are enrolling in Japanese courses? There are many reasons to take on the Japanese courses here at UMSL. As previously mentioned, there's a large economy to trade with and a rich culture to learn about. But aside from that, the introductory courses have their own merits. In Japanese 1, students will learn the fundamentals of the language and be prepared with knowledge of everything that they need to know in order to travel to Japan, especially skills such as shopping and reading signs, labels, and menus. Although students can complete their foreign language requirements with just 1 year's worth of classes here at UMSL, they can also continue to hone their skills in the language through either the Japanese major or the Japanese minor. The Japanese major at UMSL begins at year 2 and has 2 major sections. For the language section of the degree, there are 6 sequential spoken language classes, as well as 3 classes that focus more on the written language, although these are taken once per year. For the culture section of the Japanese major, students are tasked with selecting 6 credit hours worth of classes from a list of classes that focus on various aspects of Japanese culture so that they can focus on whatever really interests them. The Japanese minor is a great, more relaxed option for students who aren't necessarily willing to commit to a major in Japanese. It stops at year 3 and focuses on just the language component of the Japanese major. On campus, there are many events to go to related to Japanese studies. Just this semester, the Japan America Student Association has been going strong and has hosted many on-campus events for students to participate in. Additionally, the Japanese English Language Exchange Table is hosted in the Millennium Student Center every Thursday and is a great place for students to gather and study Japanese and English together. Furthermore, there are occasionally public lectures that can be attended by anyone available. This semester, Dr. Miller hosted a public lecture that taught attendees about the kawaii aesthetic, and Yoshi-sensei taught attendees about Japanese calligraphy. If you haven't yet begun working on your foreign language requirements here at UMSL, I strongly suggest that you choose Japanese to fulfill your credit hours. The difficulty may be high, but the value of the reward is extremely worth it. The language has lots of use in business and media environments, and sometimes even just being able to be an interpreter is extremely sought after. In the modern workforce, we need skills that make us stand out from the opposition, and fluency in Japanese is a skill that many people simply do not have. On average, bilingual individuals earn about 10% more than monolingual employees. If the job you apply for requires that you speak a specific language, then you may be looking at a pay grade increase of up to 50%. In my particular field of interest, video games, localization is becoming increasingly important as high-quality games are being marketed worldwide rather than in singular countries. Take Nintendo and Sony, for example. These titans both originated in Japan, but have made themselves household names in the United States as well. For Japanese to English localization, Indeed.com's estimated salaries lie between $60,000 and $75,000 per year, but most companies will offer bonuses, especially if you're producing quality work. And if that's not enough for you, management positions in this field also exist and can pay up to double the estimated amount. Here's an example that might motivate you to take your studies even further. The Pokemon Company International recently posted a job listing for a localization management position that ranged from about $106,000 to $156,000 per year. Of course, a management position isn't going to be very easy to achieve, but life itself also isn't very easy. With all of this considered, I hope that you'll consider taking on the Japanese courses here at UMSL. If you haven't taken any Japanese courses before, Japan 1001 is hosted in the fall semester so keep an eye out when applying for classes this spring.